Hello, I'm Tara Thomas. I know it's been a while. It's been over a month since I've done a video, and I'm sorry for that. I don't have a lot of excuses other than it was a busy Christmas season, and I was pretty much sick for a few weeks. Couldn't get over a sinus infection. When I finally did, then I got the flu. So even if I had done a video, you wouldn't have been able to hear me. So I apologize for that. There are a couple ladies that let me know they've been looking for a video, and I apologize for not having one up before now. But I'm just going to jump right in, so I don't want to waste a second of your time. So my point today is being spiritually successful. To understand, first of all, that we have a grasp on salvation. We know the truth of God. We have prayed the enemy out of our home, and now we're setting it up for success. You know, I believe we do have control over our spiritual circumstances, and God wants us to enable that power that we have. You know, He gives things freely, only we don't use them. So the way I started to be spiritually successful was I just started looking at my life, and I proclaimed things for my life, the things that I wanted to see, and I've done it by year since then, and that was probably about 5 years ago when I really started doing it. And I just had things that I wanted to achieve through Christ. Some of them were very personal things, some of them were spiritual things, things for my overall family, relationships. And when you pray for things like that, because God wants you to pray in detail, you don't see things moving. I just feel like, and some people may not agree with me, and that's fine, that sometimes you can have blessing blockers in your life that you haven't dealt with that are preventing you from gaining full spiritual success and abundance of blessings flowing in your life, and you actually being a blessing to others. Because if you don't deal with the garbage, then when you go to people, you're not going to people whole, and when they receive from you, you're bringing all that baggage and basically putting it onto them, and it blocks your blessings from flowing. It blocks your prayers. Everything becomes clouded, and you need to just have pure clarity that, you know, there is a free-flowing presence with God in your life, and all these other things are dealt with. That you're so spiritually successful and aware of God's presence that nothing, no ugliness, like forgiveness or bitterness, nothing of that can block you. That it's just open territory between you and God. So the way I did it was I asked God to reveal to me sins that I haven't dealt with, situations, relationships, people that I haven't dealt with that I may have offended or that offended me, forgiveness that I needed to give and forgiveness that I needed to receive. And people keep thinking that you can receive forgiveness only from other people, and that's not true. Forgiveness starts, first of all, with God. God, forgive me of my sins, come into my heart. Then secondly, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to love the reflection that you see. That's very, very hard. One time, this is years ago, I was working at a daycare, and we went on this retreat to Sunset Beach, and she handed out mirrors to people. Different ladies got them. It was a real emotional time because, you know, when you go fast throughout the day and you just go moment after moment after moment, you just deal with things and you keep things hidden. And so I got the mirror, of course, and I looked at myself, and the question was, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And I just burst into tears because I hated everything I saw in the mirror. I hated the person it was. I hated the way she was. I hated the way she acted. I hated the way people treated her. There were relationships involved in that reflection that had broken my heart. And I just remember, you know, telling a little bit of the story at that time, but hiding it after that and putting it away and never really dealing with it again. And so if you don't deal with things, as our pastor said today, they will return. It's like you're in a hamster cage, and you think you're moving fast when you are going absolutely nowhere. And so years later, about 5 years later actually, and this was 10 years after that period, I just started praying probably the scariest prayer you'll ever pray, which is, God, reveal in me my weaknesses. Reveal in me and search me, oh God, the unforgiveness that's there, the bitterness that's there, the ugliness that's there, the relationships that I may have offended, the relationships that have offended me. And He will. He will do that each and every single time. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue right now with my Spotify. All of a sudden it just decided, hey, we're not going to play anymore. So there we go. Sorry. One verse is Joshua 8:32, which is, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And I have said so many times with my dear friend Sherry, who is the best friend in the world, just wanted to put that in there for her. The truth will set you free. And people always think, oh, the truth feels so good. It never says the truth will feel good and set you free. It just says you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And sometimes the truth just hurts. Sometimes it just hurts. It breaks your heart. It can rip your heart apart. But in the end, when you know the truth and it sets you free when you realize it and you let go of whatever it is that's hindering you. And that freedom, that's what feels good. And so that's where we want to get to. So what I did was whether these people knew that I offended them or not, some of them didn't have a clue as to what I was talking about, but God put them in my heart, so I sat down and I wrote each of them a letter, just apologizing for any and everything that I had ever done that may have offended them. I tried to get rid of all of the bitterness in my heart toward anyone that I had. And, there were a few people that were very, very close to me, family members that situations had risen, and I had just had this mindset of, if you betray me, if you're mean to me, if you're ugly to me, if you're spiteful to me, vindictive, manipulative, you basically don't draw breath in my eyes anymore. I cut them off and just pretended in my mind that they didn't even exist anymore, which is wrong. Because how can I have a ministry for people when there's people living and breathing that I've just cut off? Now, you can love people from a distance, and some people need to do that, because when you love people and they continue to hurt you and hurt you and hurt you, you're basically shaking hands with them saying, I'm going to love you to pieces and you can hurt me as much as you want. And that's just not okay. So God says, love thy neighbor. He never says trust them. He never says let them into your house and let them run rampant. But He does say love them. So I asked God to forgive me. And then I had to look at myself and forgive myself for all the ugliness that I was carrying. And at times, I would just sit and weep because I wanted things to be different and the situations didn't change. But little by little and moment by moment, God opened up new doors, new relationships that blow my mind with the friendship that they have. Sherry is a friend to me that I met the first night I attended a church. And it was just something like a divine connection, just where it was unconditional, the love that we had for each other and the friendship that we had. And even to this day, she is one of my dearest friends that you just meet those certain people that will always, no matter how far away you are, no matter if you see each other every day, because we don't. That's what's so crazy about our friendship is we see each other maybe once every couple of months, and we talk every single day. But it's like the friendship we have, it's never left. And I'm so thankful that God brought her into my life. And not to get sidetracked, but just think in your heart and in your mind, who is it in your life that maybe you're not appreciating, that maybe God has placed there to help you through your spiritual journey, just to help you through life in general. And just begin to appreciate God for that and thank God for that. And when you have those friendships that are rock solid, especially if you have one with your spouse, those are lasting relationships that you need to build on. And the ones that are hurting you, why I say all of that, is because the ones that hurt you so much, the ones that you thought were close, they are nothing compared to what you'll have when you let God pick your friendships instead of you. Those are the friendships that will last a lifetime. And I truly believe that the ones that I have now are never ending. When you do all of this, you have to maintain it. It's not something that you can just do and then let go. You have to keep your heart right before God. You have to, every day, God, reveal in me the day before the ugliness that was there. And if there was, Lord, please forgive me. These are things you constantly have to ask God to reveal to you. And He will, daily. And it'll be a daily struggle, but it'll be a daily strength you gain at the same time. This isn't a long video, and I just wanted to do one just to say, hey, whether you remember the people you've offended, maybe they've offended you, whoever they may be, make a list. Pray about that list. Pray about the circumstances for those situations. And if you don't know how to pray, ask God how. So my video cut me off, and I didn't realize it until after I had already unplugged everything. So I apologize for that. I was finishing the video by saying to create a list of the people you may have offended. I did that. I just asked and prayed, God reveal in me who the people may be that either I had offended or they had offended me. And I just went person by person and wrote them a detailed letter as to how I thought in my mind I had offended them. And if they had offended me, I wrote forgiveness letters. And some of them had no clue, but it freed my mind and it freed my heart so that I could in return love other people or even them harder. So I'm just going to end my video with just asking you to seek the truth, to ask God to reveal in you what's hindering you from spiritual success. And day by day, He will. Stay in the Word. Get deep in the Word every day, and you will find peace. You will have situations arise where you'll know those were divine appointments. Those were divine openings by God to allow healing to begin. I love you all, and I just pray that abundance of blessings happen in your life this year. Thank you.